I'm gonna be honest, I got kind of emotional this morning because people were really nice about my video. It was really nice. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm soft and people were nice to me, I want to cry. But like high-key, it was like, I was nervous to put out the video, obviously, because it's a little bit like, there's a spicy debate about that whole thing. And it was really nice that people were very complimentary of the work that I did. And it made me really, really happy. It made me really, really happy that my opinion can be part of the conversation and also not a source of harassment. I love being able to have opinions and not get harassed. Very cool. Yippee, yippee. Also, Marco Meatball is really cool and everyone should go be nice to him on all of his videos. I like Marco Meatball a lot. I'm about to glaze. Dude makes fucking awesome content. He is so obviously incredibly passionate about the shit that he makes. I like him so much. Please go glaze the fuck out of him because he has been getting crazy hate. And it pisses me the fuck off. Dude is the sweetest, most innocuous, passionate person. And he should be appreciated for that. I don't give a fuck about the thumbnail. That thumbnail was not that bad. Can we be so entirely fucking for real? On most gacha creators' channels, that thumbnail doesn't even rank on being spicy. Can we be entirely for real? If you look back at some of my old shit, it's not great. It's not great. Like, that shit is like a 1 at most. At most, that shit is like a 1. On my channel, insane. The thumbnail managed to stir shit up is impressive, to be honest. I don't think that thumbnail was that crazy. I feel like I'm insane because I'm looking at it and I just keep looking at it and I'm like, it just really wasn't that bad. Like, I really don't think that it was worth any amount of anger or scrutiny at all. Yeah, people were so hyper-fixated on his thumbnail, even though it wasn't the point. But even if you like, okay, there's a reality. Hate to say it. There's a reality that people just look at the thumbnails and go, oh, so you're a piece of shit and I hate you and you should die. And they don't watch the videos. That's 100% true. It's an unfortunate reality. However, I don't think that thumbnail was even worth that reaction. The thumbnail was not that spicy. Even like Marco Meatball saying, oh, the thumbnail was spicy. No, the fuck it wasn't. He's giving way too much credit to the gacha people to say that that thumbnail was spicy, dude. It was a very good thumbnail. It was not that crazy. That shit was making me feel like insane that people were like, no, it was spicy. Not really. He did not need to change that thumbnail. That shit pissed me off. The amount of tribalism in gacha games makes me glad none of my other friends play them. I just enjoy them solo. You know what I've learned? A lot of normies specifically play woo-wah. And that's not even me trying to glaze. There are a lot of normies, like people that my husband works with, that play woo-wah that don't play any other gachas, which is crazy to me. Marco was kind of bullied into opinion that thumbnail was spicy. I agree. It was only spicy for men. Hey, shit. I was the only one that was like, Marco, don't apologize to people. I just feel like I understand. Obviously, I'm very familiar with harassment around gacha tribalism. I'm obviously familiar. I think that we should not validate that people, like, I think there's a problem among content creators where even in private settings, they will say shit like, oh, well, that's just how it is. Get over it. Get thicker skin. And I think that it actually validates the people doing their harassing too much to assume that, like, there's nothing you can do, just get over it. You know what I mean? I think it validates it way too much among content creators. And it means, like, and just because it is gonna happen doesn't mean that, like, it isn't hard to deal with, too. Because I feel like a lot of people who are not content creators are like, oh, whoa, you can't handle a little mean comment, get over it. And it's like, I don't think there is an applicable human experience that compares to what it is actually like to get hate on that level outside of like being a content creator or some kind of like celebrity or something. That is not a normal human experience. That is not something that I feel like anybody can really, and I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, my job is so hard. I'm saying that I underestimated how fucking hard it would be to be harassed on that level. Because to me, I was also like, oh, it's just comments. Like, what the fuck does that matter? And then I was like crashing out for 6 months straight. I guess to me, it really downplays the seriousness of it. It normalizes it and it gives validation to those who do it rather than saying like, no, it is hard. It does suck. How many content creators do you see crashing out pretty regularly? Do you think that's because they're not affected? Do you think that the bizarre crash outs on every platform from content creators is because they are unaffected by harassment on the internet? Or do you think maybe it's related? And obviously you can't stop it, but you shouldn't validate it at the same time, is my opinion. You know, it's not really Pokey's tweet. To me, this is more so something that it happens a lot, even privately. Because, like, yes, Pokey's tweet was obviously, like, not really helpful. We can be chill with that. That was, like, not great. But what I'm really talking about is that content creators in general sort of have that kind of attitude of, like, especially in Gacha, are like, oh, we'll just get over it. Everyone has to deal with it. That's not really a very empathetic or supportive stance to take. And that's also not really how it works. It does affect people, and that's why they crash the fuck out. Acknowledge and undermine is not the way to go. I agree. That's my opinion, which is nuanced and therefore very difficult to understand. But I don't think the problem with Pokey's tweet was that he was victim blaming so much as it was validating bad behavior from viewers that will see it as being validation of their behavior. Because I don't see it so much as victim blaming, which is the word that has been thrown around a lot, which I personally just don't enjoy that way of talking about things. I do think that when a viewer reads that does harass people over their opinions on gacha games, they go, oh, well, it's going to happen no matter what. So it's okay if I do it. Because they're not going to really read that first part where he says it's lame. Does it mean the toxicity should be validated? Yeah, I agree. It is toxic, and we shouldn't validate it and say that it's okay. Or say that it's just going to happen no matter what, or it's completely unchangeable. If you actively say it's not okay to do that, period, no but, no and, no however, it will have an effect when you are a creator because you're an influencer of the space. And I'm not trying to come after Pokey here. These are my thoughts on content creation and gacha as a whole. I just want to be clear about that. Some people, even if you denounce it, will do it anyway. But some people, if they consistently see content creators denouncing bad behavior, will be affected, will be influenced, because that is our job. We are influencers in a space that we share. And I'm not trying to come after Pokey. This is something that I've heard privately, personally, many times from many creators. It's just like, oh yeah, well, harassment just happens. Get over it. It happens to everybody. Get the fuck over it. And it's just like, damn, this shit kind of sucks though. Because I'll be honest, that shit made me feel so bad because it was like, am I the only one who's ever affected by the way people talk to me? Y'all are just all fine? And then I actually sat back and watched people and realized none of these bitches are fine either. They're crashing out all the time. I think that in a lot of ways, being exposed to criticism and harassment and hatred on that level is like deeply unnatural and bad for people. Like, in what part of being a human did you evolve to be able to take on that much negativity directed at you? I just don't think it's possible that people will not be affected, and I think it's okay to express empathy to other people. Yeah, it does suck. We're gonna have to learn how to cope with it together, but it does suck. Expect this bullshit, sadly. I don't think they do get over it. That's why they crash out. Getting constant hate when you're designed to work in a community is bad. Shocking, I know. Did you talk about Pokey's tweet? I'm not really talking about Pokey. I don't know how to make that any more clear. Like, I understand that that is like the main thing on people's minds because of Twitter, but this is definitely like overall, I think something that happens a lot in the gacha space. This is something that I've heard in private conversations dozens of times from bunches of other people. Pokey is not the point of this. I think overall in the gacha space, it would be really helpful if content creators acknowledge that getting harassment kind of sucks. You shouldn't have to accept harassment. To a certain extent, you have to be okay with it and you have to be able to cope with it, especially depending on what kind of content you make. But doing this like it's to be expected shit is like actively harmful to people. I'll be honest and vulnerable with you guys. Shit, I put out a whole hour-long video about it. I'll be honest, the thought that no matter what, I would have to be harassed on that level made me want to quit content creation. And the problem is that you actually don't have to accept harassment on that level. That is not average in every space. I left Gacha and did outside content, often controversial, and I never received a similar amount of hate, harassment, and shitty comments like I did in Gacha, ever. Not on a single video. Even ones that did not have a popular opinion did I get that kind of hate. That is not how it is everywhere. That is how it is here. And when we say, if it's to be expected, everyone has to get over it, there's no reason to have empathy for content creators over it, or even between content creators. It happens more. But it is not normal to get that level of harassment everywhere. That is a gacha thing. I hate to say that, but I never had the same level of harassment when I was doing outside gacha stuff, except for a little bit in the VTuber community. That is true. I did kind of fuck up on that one. We can be honest. Anyways, expressing empathy and compassion for other people makes you a good human. We should try it. Oh my god, that freeze frame is horrible. Oh my god, that freeze frame is horrible. Ew. Ew, 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 ew.